Alright, so welcome back to part 2 of my video for my Goaliath basketball hoop. This time I actually have some help. My daughter's going to give me a hand on this guy, but this is the actual building of the hoop itself. So we have all the concrete work done, which I'll show you here in a second, and I did alter it a little bit from the other videos so we could actually put our handprints and stuff in it, so you'll see. But we're going to start, and this you're going to probably want to closely step by step probably with the manual just to make sure everything's done right, because there is one specific thing. The very first thing that we're going to do with the actual poles themselves to get them together is very, very important. So here we go. Alright, so the only thing we don't have up here is the actual backboard itself, which I still have down in my basement, which I'll bring up when we get to where we need the glass backboard. All the other pieces should be here in my trailer. This is going to be the big thing that you want to double check. So we have to put these poles together, and essentially the upper pole slides over the lower pole. And the very first thing you want to do is actually check to make sure that it's 6 inches. So we're going to go by the lower portion of this orange line, which is just over 6 inches. Not too shabby actually, but that's what we're going to go by. We're going to want to make sure that the upper pole goes at least down to that black line before we put any kind of fasteners in it. So that's number one. In order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to actually take the top part of we're going to slide it on top through this guy, then we're going to kind of pound it down. So we're going to raise this guy up and lower and slam her down on the ground. In this case, you're going to want to have something, so they say cardboard, and I actually have some OSB that I'm actually doing it on instead, so I do less damage to my driveway. But essentially, we're just going to use gravity to take that pole and slide it down onto here. Now, we'll say one thing. It says backside right here on the sticker. It also says backside right on that sticker. So we're going to want to make sure that we pair backside to backside. But I'm going to get the video and we're going to show you here. I'm going to slide it into place and then we're going to pound her down. So here we go. Alright, so backside to backside. So you can see how it's going to get really, really tight really fast. So now I have a good 1.5 inches still to go down, which all you got to do is that. Plastic cap came out. Now I've only got about a 1/2 inch.
Is that good?
This is where it gets tighter and tighter, so it's gonna be a little bit. It's going down just really, really slowly. Almost.
From here.
1/8 of an inch or so. Boy, she's barely going anymore.
Now one side is up. See it?
Well, it's just because probably this cut down here on the steel is probably crooked. So this is probably 6 inches down. This quite isn't. We'll just keep going with it. Yeah, she's definitely. I would say she went a little more than 6 inches on that pole. So, we'll go from there. Alright, so I got it put together and landed down here on a couple soft harnesses so it gets it up so it's a lot easier to work on. Essentially now we're going to put the fasteners on down here to securely fasten the two poles together so they can't loosen up. Like I said, I went a little lower, probably a good 1/8 past almost where that line was, because once it went past the line, it kind of jutted down. That's fine. Going past the line is not a problem, but you definitely want to be at least 6 inches past, so that you have to bury that line. So now we're going to go ahead and put the fasteners in, which are self-tapping screws. You can do a pilot hole if you need to, but yeah, we'll put self-tappers in. So these guys usually take some time if you don't do the pilot hole. I'm going to try it without the pilot hole first. And so here we go. Nope, actually went just fine. And you don't want to strip them out, so you can just go until they're tight. And now we're going to flip the bowl over. Do the two on the other side quick. Alright, so we got those in. And now we're ready for the next step. Real quick how that's lined up. So these are marked number 77 where the 4 screws go in. on the screw packet. Everything's sealed in here. Number 77, there's actually 10 of them. I've used the first 4 in the pack, and you just basically follow that, and they actually have on each of these next steps all the numbers for each of the screws and fasteners that you're actually going to use, and all the nuts and washers, so makes it quite easy. So now we're going to attach these, what they call post ears, to the back side, which is the back side. And this is obviously the only spot that it can be, because there's 2 bolt holes here. We're going to use number 25, which is a lock nut with a bolt. We're going to throw a washer on each of these as we put them in as well. I'm going to slide this one in through here. There we go. And then same thing with the other one. To go lock nut off, throw a washer on. Come on, where you at? And there we go. So, oh, and I did it backwards. This is where it pays to actually pay attention, right? Try that again. So yeah, what I'm going to do to start here, I do have a 9/16 wrench and a 9/16 socket, which I'm just going to get at least snug, but not tight. I'm not going to tighten it overly yet. So there we go. To be honest, I was kind of worried that was going to come together too much, but it's not, because how they're bent, so that's going to, you know, things are rich. I'm just going to tighten it all the way then. I'll probably go over these one more time at the end anyway, but I'm sure that's going to be the next piece that we're going to put on actually. So now we're actually going to place the actuator, which is this guy right here. We're going to attach that to the post anchors here, which will basically go through this little guy here. And I got the bolt and everything. And this is actually a bolt with 2 larger washers, so there are 2 washers that are larger. That's going to go for this guy here. These are 3/4 inch ends, so make sure you have a 3/4 socket. And my 3/4 inch, I have no idea where to put it, so I have a crescent to the other side. So I'm just going to double check, make sure I have everything lined up properly, and then we're going to attach that. Alright, so I got my actuator, and I even have what they call the post sleeve or whatever in there already. You don't have to have that, but get this lined up here, grab the bolt. The washers should go Alright, just wanted to double check. The washers are going to go on the outside. I'm going to slip that through the actuator, through the other side, under washer, and this nice and tight, that's for sure. So I may have to loosen that other side up just to get that to work properly. Alright, so maybe I'll tighten that a little more. Alright, that'll do for now. That doesn't have a whole lot of play in it anymore. Alright, so we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so now we're going to attach the stop spacers, which is one of these number 22 bolts and lock washer. Essentially the spacer goes on. It's going to be this top, which I guess the second hole down, or the back hole. This is the back side of the hoop. Put the other spacer on the other side, put the lock nut on, then we're going to tighten that. We're going to tighten it, but we're not going to over tighten it. So that's going to be the big thing here. So let's start tightening. Alright, so we're tight. I'm not going to over tighten it. I can still kind of turn it by hand. That's where we're going to go. Okay, so now we're going to attach the lower arms using the number 22 bolt, just like this guy was, plus 2 plastic washers and 2 of the standard metal washers. Now you're going to want to make sure, just for looks obviously, you want to make sure the Goaliath actually faces toward the ground. In this case, I have mine all upside down here, so I'm going to see if I can do it. Nope, I'm not going to be able to do it now. I have to do it from the side, so that's fine. I'll just have to turn it on the side. Not a big deal. Thought I'd give her a try. Alright, so let me get this situated. Have my actuator supported at least. Alright, so now we're going to use the holes toward the Goaliath logo. Essentially. So we got metal washer first. This is where it kind of gets complicated. So we do metal washer. And what you got to do is you got to get these plastic washers in between here, in between the pole and the actual lower arm unit. So we'll line this up. Get the plastic washers lined up. And I just realized what I did. I don't like it. I'm a person that likes to have all the nuts and washers and everything on the one side, so I'm going to actually flip it around, which should be easy if I don't move it too much. But I moved it. This was more of a aesthetics thing, and I know my wife will appreciate me doing that because she definitely would notice that immediately. Of course, it's not structural, so it's not that big of a deal, but I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So I'm not going to tighten it too much, I'm just going to get it snug so it's not loose. Stop right about there because I don't want to over tighten it. Alright, so now we have the lower arms all in place. Alright, so we're going to do the same process again. Actually, same materials, same bolt, same 2 metal washers, same 2 plastic washers, and that's going to be between the actuator and the arms. So essentially, this is going to be a lot easier to line up because, well, we actually have, now maybe I should loosen that up a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to have to loosen that up a little bit in order to get this in here properly, I think. Alright, so it's just, we want it snug, we don't want to loose, that's still too loose, I think. Snug so it moves freely but not too tight. And if we need to tighten it up, we can always tighten it up later. Alright, so now we have the upper arms, which are separated. They're not a one-piece unit like the lower arms are. And you're going to have the long leg against the pole and the short leg that goes against the hoop. In this case, we have number 7, the long bolt. And like before, we have the metal washer, but in this case, rather than plastic washers, there's plastic spacers. So that's what we're going to actually use for the other piece of it. Get all my stuff ready. Get the spacer in right here. Slide this guy into place here. And then we have the other spacer. The other washer. And the nut. Now we. So those are freely, but they're not too wobbly or anything, so that's good.
I'm older than you. It's just that
I think now we are to the point where we're going to get ready to stand this up. So I should be able
I'm not
to
playing. Sorry.
remove my tools out of the way at least. Pretty sure that these are enough of an angle. I can lay it down on his face. I just don't want to hit the concrete and scratch it out. There we go. Alright. So now we're ready to actually slide it up. Now I actually have it in place here, so I'm going to show you here. I have it actually in place, so it's actually going to go right down where I actually have it going to go. So we're going to get set for that. Let me just point one thing out real quick. All these caps that you see out here, other than the one that fell off, all these have actually been in place already. If they're not in place, you may need to put it in yourself, or if they fall out, if you can't do it by hand, you may need a rubber mallet. So one other thing before you actually stand it up is make sure all these guys are in place, because that's going to keep all the water out. Alright, to get set up, what we're going to need in total here is there's 8 washers, 4 lock washers, and 4 lock nuts. I already have the original nuts when I placed everything down here, so I'm not going to even move that. I'm just going to throw 4 washers on top here. And now we're good to actually bring and set the actual post up in place. I will tell you that this is not light, so you're probably going to want to have more than one person for safety reasons. Just to let you know, don't follow my example. I'm going to be doing this myself, actually. But we're going to put it in place, and here we go. When I get in this place, can you just pull this, go lift this up, and you pull that out of the way?
This?
That, right there, yep. Spin it on.
What side?
Doesn't matter. Spin it on. Alright, I'm going to grab the level. Alright, so this is going to be where you're never going to have a perfect from your concrete job because concrete's concrete. But right now we're going to actually work on getting this thing back plumb. So I'm not actually too bad. I need to come forward a hair. And on the side, I need to move toward my house, maybe an 1/8 up there, so it's not going to take much. Essentially what you do is you need your, this is going to be a 15/16 wrench. Essentially we're just going to adjust this lower washer. You're not going to want to take too much at a time. In this case I'm just going to do half a turn. And then you're going to see that, wow, that turned a lot real quick, so I'm actually going to bring it back down a little bit. Actually, just on this one. Obviously. That way it's about right. So now I'm going to have to bring it forward, which is going to be for the back two. Not much. A little bit at a time. Okay. So now we brought it forward. Definitely shows it's almost perfectly plumb there. Right there too. Jeez. That did not take much. I must have done a pretty good job. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start tightening it down. Alright. So I'm snug. I'm going to double check this stuff. Man. Yeah, she's right on the money. So. They do give us 4 of these rubber plugs. You don't want to have the basketball hit the end of the bolt and pop. So we have our rubber pegs on top and we're good to go to the next step. Okay, now we're going to actually put the hand crank on the actuator here. Essentially is line up the holes and put the little cotter in through. Pretty simple. And then we should be able to bring over this guy. That's it. she'll give a force because we do have those stoppers up there, so that's as low as she's going to go right there. So one of the major last steps is obviously the backboard. This is going to have 4 bolts with 8 washers and 4 plastic washers. Plastic washers go between the actual backboard metal and the arms, so they can pivot. You're going to want at least 2 or 3 people on this one. Since it's just my daughter, I actually have a buddy that's going to come up real quick, and we're going to throw it up there. And basically it's going to be me holding it while they're aligning and putting the bolts in. So give us a few minutes, and if nothing else, I'll speed this up if it takes longer than usual, but it shouldn't take too long if I can get it up there properly. So here we go. There's nothing light about this, that's for sure. All right. You line up, I can't see any of it. Yep.
I can't get my hand.
Hang on, do you want to look? Can't go anywhere.
Dad, you're not losing that.
You got it. Yep, you got it. That's it. Thank you, sir. Yeah. She looks beauteous.
Do I have it? Because this thing's moving.
You got it. Yep. As long as it's tight enough, it's not going to come off. Don't worry. So now we just tighten everything. Yay.
How much time?
So now it's just about tightening these 5 guys down. Because obviously we don't want it coming off. Those are going to be like bolts that we're probably going to want to check every so often for the first little bit to make sure nothing's loosening up, but it's going pretty good. It's good. Come up. Sure. Not right now. So as long as it's straight, you can tighten it down. Again, you're going to want this fairly snug because it's going to get a lot of bounce, but you don't want it crazy tight, I wouldn't think.
Is this glass that you can break with the basketball?
It would be hard to break with a basketball.
What could you break with?
Alright.
What if there's a rock?
No more, I can't dunk from there.
Seriously?
Okay, once you're certain that all 4 carriage bolts are set in so they're not sticking out and they weren't turning accidentally, then we want to put this cover on. This cover is just going to basically go on there like that, so you don't see all that good stuff there. So it's the cover plus 4 Phillips machine bolts or machine screws. Alright. And now it's netting. All you gotta do is just make sure you don't have them twisted. And you just keep going around. Last piece is going to be these bumpers. Essentially they go on like this. And you're going to use, there's 6 more of those self-tapping bolts that we use for the actual post itself. And essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to align it up and put it in place. You want that piece to wrap around the glass itself. And in the center, and just snug to hold the rubber on. And that is it. The last step is to put this height marker sticker on the backside on the actuator. To do so, first you crank it up so it's actually at 10 feet. So I have my tape measure here. Which I did, I cranked it up.
It's not broken.
Now we're sitting at 10 feet. Which now we're just going to mark a piece of tape on the backside and then we're going to put the sticker on. So the plastic actuator sleeve is what actually marks it. So what we're going to do is I just have a piece of electrical tape, which is a quick mark. Right there. Now we're going to crank it back up and then put the sticker on. Now we just take our sticker. The 10-foot mark is going to mark up with the top of my tape. So I'm just going to go ahead and release the back of the sticker. Alright, now I have my sticker ready. And that looks about right. I mean, it's going to be close enough where we're not going into regulation anyway.
I have a shield on this.
And that's it. So now we have our height regulations where we know how high the rim is off the board or off the ground.
Professional football player.
So that is the Goaliath basketball hoop from start to finish in the 2-part video series that I did. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please comment below. Anything I can do tutorials on. I do have a couple actually that I have in mind that I'm going to be doing here shortly again for tech again. But I had to do this because I thought it was going to be a fun video if nothing else. And you could learn along with me because I've never put a basketball hoop up. So it turned out pretty good. I did want to show you that difference in the concrete because I didn't mention that in the beginning. And I didn't really show you. You probably saw it during the thing, but I'll show you that real quick here. So essentially what I did is you can see where the original form was. Kind of hard to see there, but I just poured the concrete to fill it around it. I still kept this basically even so there's no dirt underneath it. It's just concrete straight up. But that way we got our hands in there. Last name carved in there, dog paw. Year that we put it in. It just looks better, I think, than... I mean, yeah, I understand the dirt, but I'd rather don't have to worry about getting the mower next to it either. So I like this better, and kind of wish I would have just done this from the start. But then again, my kids weren't home to put their handprints in anyway, so yay! So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next video. Shoot it! But shoot it! Shoot it! Can't go that high. Alright, we'll see you in the next video, guys. See you later. Come on, we just gotta do this. You gotta shoot. Right off the backboard. See off the backboard, that's how you shoot it. See the white square? Here you go. Shoot at the white square up there.
I should shoot it from here.
Go ahead.
Ready?
Hurry up.